Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we are returning to the Great War Western Front, our Let's Play series playing as the Central Powers. In today's stream we are going to be taking a first look at a major patch, which just came out today, a major update for the game, which makes some considerable changes to how some of the things in the game work. For example, one of the things the patch notes mention is that light artillery will not have as wide of an effect radius, which will have massive impacts to how useful suppression barrages can be, because you won't be able to necessarily tie down like 4 companies with a single bombardment. Your ability to sort of blanket the front line with light artillery fire to stop them from even shooting at you as you try and advance on the trenches, that's going to be hindered by the reduction in the effectiveness of the artillery. Additionally, tanks have apparently gotten more vulnerable, so they may not quite be as effective. There have been considerable changes to the way that the AI makes decisions about where to attack and how much to attack. The AI might actually surrender in certain battles if things aren't going well to preserve, I don't know, I'm assuming resources or whatnot. Another major thing that that I know I saw changed is that the trench mortars are potentially going to be more valuable. Their impact is supposed to be greater, and also I think the biggest change perhaps is that you're not going to be able to just buy aviation units to provide all your supplies. So someone mentioned in the stream yesterday sort of the meta for the game up to this point is never buy supply, right? Never go down here to the purchase menu and choose to buy or always go down to the purchase menu here and choose to buy an air wing or tank battalion, because either of those previously provided considerable supply. And the way that units work is like infantry company corps here, for example. You can see the infantry conscript corps provide 150 supply that I don't have to buy. Every single turn that corps generates regional supply for that corps, and then if I want to launch an offensive, I can use this supply before we start digging into the global supply over here. Well, one of the things that the patch changed is now armored battalions and air aviation battalions do not provide any supply as a base rule for those particular units. So previously you would get more supply by buying an air wing than you would get by spending 500 gold to get 200 supply. Like, it was more efficient to just buy more air wings because that supply would be replenished every turn for free, as opposed to being consumed in the global supply hex. But now that they've made this update where aviation units do not provide supply, that changes a lot of the meta around how this actually works. So we'll have to see how much this affects things, but I do think it's at the very least going to make launching offensives a little bit more challenging, because you're not going to be as awash in supply as you previously were when you got supply for every aviation unit or every tank unit. We are playing from the save that we played last night, Sal. So we are going to be continuing our offensive here in today's video. Now, I had thought, okay, we took Dunkirk, we can now attack Calais across a two hex front. We can do it with 2 tank battalions, and 1 in Dunkirk and 2 in Hazebrook. We can do it with multiple aviation, probably 2 aviation units in each of those as well. Possibly siege artillery in both also. However, when I opened up the save today and looked at Calais, the enemy has 34 corps in defense here, which means we would be at a slight disadvantage, because the most corps that we have here, like even if you count the aviation units, which don't give us supply, we have what, 20 corps here at Hazebrook? 2 tank battalions, 2 siege artillery battalions, 3 aviation units. That makes up 7 units. And then we've got 13 actual corps of infantry. So if the enemy has 34 units in defense at Calais, that's going to make attacking there very challenging, because presumably they will not run out of supply, like, ever. I mean, I suppose if they're all specialty equipment, they might not have a ton. But I do believe that 20 is considerably less than 34. So what we may do is try and, like, I don't know if their national will is high enough for me to be able to draw this conflict out long enough. Some of the other tweaks that they did introduce also is major defeats hurt you less from a national will perspective. And they also changed the 1918 timer where, like, once you hit 1918, I believe you lost 100 national will per turn. They tempered that down to 30, so that the game doesn't, like, just, you know, kill you from the fact that the calendar turns over. So that might make the game last a little bit longer, but I think what we're going to do here, instead of attacking these 34 cores head on, is I'm going to try and attack Bray-la-Bussière first, and see if we can expand the front in front of Calais to 3 hexes, where we can figure out what we want to do from there. Maybe next turn we'll buy an upgrade that gives us additional infantry cores and see if we can push Calais from 3 hexes at once instead of 2. I don't know. But Bray seems like it could be vulnerable and also sort of fits our strategic objective of isolating the British up in the north and the French down in the south. So we'll continue our 1917 offensive here today by launching an offensive out of Hazebrook toward Bray. We have 1,700 gold, 1,900 global supply, and we can see about pushing forward here. So let's do that. Game says likely stalemate, but who knows? This will also give us our first taste of how the game feels and how it's different with these changes to supply and the way that that these specialist units work. With tanks being more vulnerable now too, I believe they're 20%. The Sturmpanzer has a 20% reduction in its hit points, so that could potentially mean our ability to steamroll the enemy is not as effective. All right, so we have fought this particular battle multiple times, so we've actually got quite a few trenches laid out here on this field. They also have changed, by the way, how expensive trenches are to upgrade, which makes upgrading trenches cheaper from a supply perspective, which is nice. Oh, nice, you got fall colors. The few trees here, they're turning colors for fall. So these guys are already upgraded trenches. But like, instead of spending 30 supply to upgrade these guys to an advanced firing trench, now it looks like it's 18 for these. So that should make defenses a little bit more robust as well. I may do an allied campaign after this, Rudd. All right, so we do have 2 siege artillery units here, so we're going to go ahead and do 4 days of bombardment. I'm assuming the enemy trenches are going to be, I mean, there are already pretty considerable trenches here, so if we can destroy some of them, that might be advantageous. I'm thinking attacking to me on this, again, on this map, I think attacking north to A, which is very isolated, using the woods to swing east to cover our advance toward the command post, and then coming up behind B is still the best strategy. Although there's only 1 trench line in front of B, we could advance straight out of Y. We do have the resources to do that, although I don't think from a tank point of view that's as good of a strategy. I think the terrain here, it'll funnel them through a bit, but I think the terrain is actually better for armor to advance on A and then the command post, I think. So did they get any more supplies, or are they still behind the 8 ball? The AI, I don't know, but we do know that our specialty stuff doesn't give us as much of an advantage as we had before. Okay, so we're going to do our elite infantry. Oh, by the way, also, as per my understanding, elite infantry also is the only unit that have snipers now. Regular infantry don't get snipers, so that's another change with the patches. And then also, I believe they improved the way that flamethrowers work, so flamethrowers will avoid melees as much as they can. So that will be a change as well. Okay. Let's see, what's our artillery range again? All right, let's pull these guns down slightly. This should be good. That'll hit the first lines of the command trench, most of B, much of A. This one won't get B quite as well. But what if we move it over here? Yeah, that's good. B is going to suffer from lack of light artillery, but I'm not quite sure. I mean, I guess we'll see how effective it really still is. We're still going to do our general 3 of light and 2 of heavy, and we'll see how effective that is. The command post may be pretty light on artillery support, but we'll see. Okay, so balloons. I think they may have buffed balloons sightlines as well, but we'll put these guys here. They should have a decent line of sight on A if we put them forward a bit. And also B. That's good, I think. Yeah, they're going to be a little vulnerable, but that's okay. All right, so now we need a few additional troops to guard our trenches on the other sections of the battlefield. To guard our flank and our artillery.
Wir sind eingetroffen und warten auf Befehle. Wir kommen wohl zu spät zur Party.
Okay.
Melde mich zum Dienst.
Right. And then I think we'll buy one more tank. We'll keep it in reserve.
Wir sind eingetroffen und erwarten Befehle.
Also, did they make... They didn't make MGs cheaper. They did make mortars cheaper. And they also... I think they made it more expensive to move through barbed wire. I'm not going to use the undermining tech here. I don't think it's worth the supply. So it doesn't look like it'll let me, even though I do have 500 supply left, but... Just in case, I'm going to throw a few MGs in here to defend the artillery. All right. And maybe a trench mortar. Because they're supposed to be better against tanks now, too. Buy new... Well, the tanks resupply J Street, but you're saying, like, in terms of the losses that we suffered last turn, maybe indicative that we should have more armor than we do? Possibly. All right. So let's begin the battle. One does not wage war to get rid of war. Jean Jaurès, French politician and pacifist. Comms trench destroyed. Bunch of comms trenches. Some basic firing trenches as well. Wow, we got an enemy unit there. Looks like we got a commando unit there. Quite a few basic firing trenches destroyed. The siege artillery seemed to be pretty effective in this fight. All right, so we've spotted enemy artillery positions. I also think the game made those something you can... Well, I think it's an airburst thing. I think airbursts are now more effective against enemy artillery positions. So it might make sense in some cases to shell the enemy artillery. In fact, maybe we just... Do we try that now? We don't have airburst, so it's probably not as effective. Oh my goodness, look at how much smaller that suppression barrage is. Holy shit. That's like nothing. It's less than the precision barrages. I thought it said it reduced it by 20%, but I gotta swear that's like half. Oh no. All right, we'll use this against the defenses here. We'll use the heavy artillery to hit the enemy artillery while we soften up the positions here. Oh my god. Enemy tanks! Enemy tanks! Multiple enemy tanks. Those are Mark 5s, I think? Mark 4s? Alright, we got one of the MG&S. Nice. Good job, boys. I want to soften up these nests before we send our troops out. Get rid of these trench mortars, which are now supposed to be much more effective. Oh, there's still one trench mortar here. I guess maybe we can hit that guy with heavy arty, although I don't know if any heavy arty is in range of that. The heavy bombardment against the enemy artillery didn't really do a lot of damage. 2 heavy bombardments did moderate damage to this gun. Feels like you'd probably have to do like 6. Are they gonna attack me here? It does seem like these guys are moving forward, perhaps. Or maybe not. Maybe they're just hanging out on the corner of this trench. Give me the guns. Well, this tank is moving forward. Alright, let's do this. Still softening up the enemy defenses. That mortar's almost gone. That MG nest will be gone. And we'll finish that mortar off. Meanwhile, where is this tank going? Hit, hit, hit. Start shooting. There we go. Pound that guy. Oh, the AI is smart enough to turn their tank around and avoid the artillery. Okay. Okay. So the AI may be getting better at using tanks. It's like, hey, we should probably not drive straight into the artillery fire. Oh, but then they did it anyway. Okay, well, they tried. All right. That nest is gone. This nest is gone. Oh, also you get more time. I don't know if you noticed that, but based on the difficulty level you select, you now get 25 minutes for the difficulty that we're playing under. So a little bit less pressure to attack right away. Let's wait and see where he goes. Ah! You're in the midst of our artillery fire once more! And we did very little damage that time before it turned around. Is it going to do the same thing? It turns around and then it decides, wait, no, actually I want to go here. So then it goes right back into the... I can see what they tried to do, and it's the right intent. I'm not sure they solved for it because it doesn't look like... It looks like the AI is smart enough to know I shouldn't be driving into this artillery, but is not smart enough to actually avoid... Like, it triggers the, oh, back up, but then it doesn't actually know to change its route. It just goes right back in there, and we got it. Mark IV tank destroyed. That should help. All right, trench mortar out here. Get that. Any other positions over here to soften up? There's this enemy tank over by the bunker. Enemy artillery's over here. We've got the enemy balloon we should probably take out before we advance. I'm curious how much suppression barrage does against artillery, if that changed at all. Doesn't look like the enemy balloon, I think, is outside my radius. For any of my guns? No. This heavy piece can hit it. Okay. Well, I mean, the tank died in any event. I think what the AI tank knowing to avoid artillery fire is good. What the AI needs to do, though, is it needs to learn, okay, I should now turn left or right to go around the bombardment, not just avoid and then go back to the direction I was going, right? Like, it needs more intelligent pathfinding. It's smart in that it avoids the position, but then it doesn't restart its memory. It just keeps going. Also, these bombardments seem to be moderately more effective against enemy artillery pieces, I think. I can take out some of these enemy guns. Anybody advancing against me yet? Doesn't look like it. They called tanks in, but they haven't used them on the offensive yet. Let's also... Can we hit this enemy position here? I'm mostly just going to be using this time to soften the enemy up a bit. We've got 5 more minutes, so let's use our artillery, right? They increased the battle timer to 25 minutes for the difficulty level that we're at. I believe the highest difficulty level is still unchanged. There's only one gun left and I can't hit it. Get him. Got him. Light field artillery battalion destroyed. All right, this enemy tank is just sitting on top of this bunker. So we're going to hit it. Use much supply up on enemy units. There we go. Whoa. Heavy artillery versus those light ones. Very effective. Good job on the AI for... No, so just don't do that. Don't just go right back in there. Like the AI... okay. Okay. Whatever. Those poor guys in the bunker. Oh, they're just getting their bell rung a little bit. They're fine. I will say, though, I don't know if this is the intent of the increased battle timer, but the ability to use a lot more artillery to soften the enemy up before you advance against them may not work in the defender's advantage. Yeah. Shadows, so maybe the AI needs to be better about not going right back to where they were. Noble intent. Execution still leaves a little bit to be desired. But I don't know, I was kind of complaining about the 20-minute timer before, and now I'm kind of the opinion maybe it was a good thing, because the fact that I can just sort of pick apart the enemy at leisure before I go over the top, as long as I have sufficient supplies, maybe that's not a good thing for the game. Because my main concern with these enemy guns is that if they made the tanks more vulnerable. And so if they made the tanks more vulnerable, that means enemy artillery is even more important to destroy. We've destroyed, what, 1 battery so far and 2 tanks? But we're working on finishing off these other enemy batteries here. Haha! You know what would be cool is if the game figured out counter battery fire. Because I believe, and I think I saw History of the Great War in the chat earlier, I believe that was actually a big part of artillery usage in the war, was actually using effective counter battery fire. So like the ability to suppress enemy artillery with your own artillery would be a cool dynamic to add to the game. Well, of course, it's still important today. I'm just saying in terms of World War I. People said the AI was cheating. I also like the idea of the enemy using artillery as sort of a spoiling thing. Like, if they see you're massing for an attack, they should launch a bombardment against your troops that are in their staging areas, because that was definitely a big part of the war as well. All right, so we have destroyed 3 enemy artillery batteries. I'm assuming there's still 1 or 2 more back here that we can't see, but we've destroyed 3 enemy artillery batteries, which should greatly reduce their effectiveness. We've destroyed 2 enemy tanks. You can see their resources up here. The enemy strength bar is already down by like 1/3, and we haven't even attacked yet. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go over the top, boys. What's this? Is the second bar here a grenade range, maybe? Oh, it's probably these guys, right? Yeah, it's the grenadiers. All right, so we are going to go over the top to seize these first trenches. The enemy MGs are gone. So we're gonna get those 1, 2, 3 first 4 trenches here along the front seized. Also, this should be interesting. It looks like this comms trench is destroyed on the route to the rear, so we're gonna have to go back over the top to get to the second line of trenches, which is gonna suck from a casualty perspective, but is probably realistic. All right, and then these guys I think are just gonna, we'll put these guys here mostly as sort of a reserve in no man's land. We'll advance our tanks. And the support. And we'll start the rolling barrage in a moment. Over the top, lads! Spread out! Advance! Okay. We will begin the rolling barrage now. We'll drop it just in front of the enemy trenches, so that provides some cover, because it does drop smoke with it. I believe what I've heard is they've also increased the suppression effect of the rolling barrage. So we're going to drop 3 rolling barrages across the front of the advance here. We're also going to take our heavy artillery and drop gas in on the right flank to hopefully kick these guys out of the trenches. And then we will drop 1 precision barrage. I don't know. There's no troops here, so we'll hold off on doing that. The rolling barrage by default has smoke shells mixed in, so it does provide cover. So they just opened fire, but now you can see we dropped our first line of... Oh, shit. Halt the tank! Turn around! Alright, enemy artillery still exists. I think it's just 1 battery, but you can see they were trying to drop it there. Tanks are providing covering fire. These grenadiers are getting shot up pretty bad. Why don't these nine? I'm confused. These troops seem to be ahead of where their markers are. I may have set the rolling barrage a little too early. We're crossing in. Yeah, these markers are way off from where the troops are actually located. That is a little bit strange. Multiple grenadier units lost. Our gas bombardment successfully knocked these troops out of the trenches. All right. So what's going on here? I can't really tell where these guys are because a lot of the troops are not where their markers are. Like, what are these guys doing back here? It does look like we've successfully taken the first line of the trenches for the most part. Do we have any reserves? We haven't moved forward yet. We have some tanks, but no troops. Let's move these guys forward. Actually, move them here. The enemy does have some bombers. We're going to go ahead and call some aviation in to provide cover for our troops from enemy bombers. And we'll call in some reinforcements of regular troops. Yeah, these guys are really tired. Alright, so shit, the enemy is hitting us with gas now? I haven't seen the enemy ever use gas shell. Oh no, that's an airburst. Oh god. Airbursts are goddamn devastating in this game, by the way. Alright, we'll move these tanks over here to the right flank to prevent against any enemy flanking attack against us as we get ready to move forward on the next line of trenches. Alright, we shot down the enemy bomber. It did cause so much damage, or are you being sarcastic? I didn't see any damage that it caused. We still have one tank back here, right? Just the one? Let's withdraw this guy. He's almost dead.
Bereit machen. Achtung! In Stellung gehen! Wir haben neue Befehle. Bereit an der Linie!
Okay, get into the trenches, boys. Oh, they're shooting at my tank.
Bereit für Befehle. Feuer!
All right. Well, that's what you want. That's what you get. Let's advance on these guys. There are not enough enemy troops, I don't think, to stop me from going ahead. These grenadiers will swing east or to the right. Engage those guys. And then we're going to advance over the top. We've got 2 tanks guarding the flank. Oh shit. Enemy tanks! Tank battle! Tank on tank. Lol, they ran right into my grenadiers, who wiped him. Another enemy tank gone. Meanwhile, we got over the top here. Looks like we're advancing into A pretty effectively. I think they've only got 1 unit left. And then we'll start taking A pretty soon here. Okay, elite British infantry retreated. This tank is suffering some pretty heavy damage. But we got another enemy Mark IV tank. We're now in the process of taking point A. We need some flamethrower tanks. They didn't have those in World War I, did they? Okay, let's bring these troops over to the right flank now.
Warte auf Befehle. Vorwärts! Bereit machen! Rückt zu dieser Position vor! Warten auf Befehle.
They're gonna clear out that bunker. I need more troops to support the drive to the right. I don't really want to have too many troops capping. I'd rather keep that a little bit lighter just to slow things down, to keep the timer paused. We'll withdraw that unit. We'll call in some new elite troops. Okay, our tanks are moving over this way. Seizing the objective. Enemy troops are moving across the open to possibly attack here, or are they just repositioning in these trenches? I'm not sure. Looks like a counterattack, perhaps. Advancing across our bombardment here. That lead French unit's getting pretty badly shot up. Reinforcements are coming in. We're going to withdraw this unit. Their casualties are high. That bunker is empty. So the enemy can no longer reinforce to the north, so no worries of enemy tanks coming through that way. These somewhat shot up units, we'll leave one near A just so they can't retake it without loss. Call in some new units.
Bereit für Befehle. Wir brechen auf. Bereit. Los geht's.
Bereit für Feuerbefehle.
Warte auf Befehle. Wählt eure Ziele.
Flamethrowers make me scared.
Setzt sie unter Dampf.
All right, the MG's in the open against those flamethrower troops, though.
Ladet bereit für Feuerwalze. Positionen
What are these guys doing? Are they just like doing some kind of dance in the open? Gladly bombard enemy troops in the open.
Warten auf Befehle. Stellung einnehmen. Bereit machen. Auf der Feuerstufe bereit machen. Achtung. In Stellung gehen. Wir haben neue Befehle.
Let's begin the assault on the command post here in a moment. I think I'm gonna drop. I don't have a lot of supply left. I'm thinking about using gas to, but the southern end, there's not a lot of troops there, so maybe we don't. Okay, let's do this. Let's move these troops into this wood line here.
Warten auf Befehle. Wir sind unterwegs. Bereit machen.
These trenches are destroyed, so the earliest I can hit are here.
Warten auf Befehle. Mannschaften bereit.
We will move our tanks forward here. We'll keep the one in the reserve a little bit, just because he's already pretty damaged.
Unser Ziel steht fest.
So we've got those two.
Bereit
Fourth
für
one's over
Befehle.
this way.
Feuer frei.
We'll use a rolling barrage here in a moment once we get a little bit further forward. All right.
Seid bereit, Jungs. Befehl für Feuerwalze geht ein. Feuerwalze einleiten.
Rolling barrage.
Für eine Feuerwalze erhalten. Granaten für leichte Sperrfeuer laden. Wir haben unsere Ziele. Positionen vorbereiten.
Okay. Should provide cover while these troops close. Toss their grenades in there. Pump these guys with heavy RD.
Feuert auf diese Stellung.
Wir haben neue Befehle. Feuerstellung einnehmen. Warten auf Befehle. Auf der Feuerstufe bereit machen. Bereit machen. In Stellung gehen.
Okay, let's bring these tanks up.
Feuer aus allen Rohren. Warte auf Befehle. Wählt eure Ziele.
No sign of enemy artillery yet. Maybe they can't hit me in this spot on the map. I'm not really sure. All right, a lot of the enemy troops are out of the trenches, so they're not shooting effectively. Some of these guys are shooting in the open. Why are you leaving that trench? You should go back there. Oh, you're dying. And you're dying too. The enemy troops down here being a real pain in the ass. They can move through the trenches though here, right? Oh, they don't need to do that. They got that unit. All right, go back. Okay. Advance up here, move these tanks to clear the trench line this way. Move the damage tank forward now. Let's also bring some of these other units, which we didn't advance with yet, forward. And let's bring in some reinforcements. Those are really, really close together troops. Hey, some enemy artillery. We spotted it. Alright, advance up the trench line toward the command post. We're taking out these enemy guns. This might be their last battery. I'm not sure. So that battery's gone. Hey guys, don't just sit there and take fire. Close in so you can do your thing. The land ships advance. Alright, that enemy unit's gonna rout. Okay. So we've still got about 10 minutes left. A much more methodical advance for us this time around. Alright, so we defeated those French units. Let's withdraw these guys. They're just gonna die. And then let's advance these guys into the command trench. There's gonna be 2 French units in there. We'll pull these units up to support the south. And then these units to support the assault on the command trench. Okay. Hey, how about we also put a tank close to the command trench? So that'll give them a morale boost, I think. Our new units. Are these guys hitting these troops as they're not in the trenches? Alright, so the first unit is in there. They've got the morale bonus for being close to the tanks. So that'll help them fighting against... There's 1 British elite unit in here. No raiders, but an elite unit. And then the lone French unit here. The clock is paused because we are taking the objective. And actually, I'm wondering if... we'll need a third. We'll need a reinforcing unit here, I think. Okay, so they destroyed the first German elite unit. Imagine being those allied troops and knowing the enemy could just take the trenches behind you and you're now surrounded. Yeah, I mean, units that got isolated didn't fare so well in World War I. It would definitely happen. Alright, so... we need flamethrowers. That'd be nice. Okay, so let's move our armor up this way. I don't love that we're going to have to advance through like a wooded area. That's probably not great for them. Okay, so what do we do here? These trenches look pretty pulverized. I'm not sure how well defended they are. We never destroyed their balloon. I forgot about that. Huh. I think we'll just stick these troops in this trench and then advance south toward the objective. These guys will have to either move up through the trenches or cross no man's land to counter us. So let's do that. Put 2 units here. Do we have more units that are on their way? I thought I raised a few more, but maybe they didn't make it, or I'm not sure. Okay, 2 more elite units. Oh, there's troops in the bunker. Really? Okay. There's French flamethrower troops in the bunker. Fortunately for us, those troops are not... Oh, here's those 2 troops I was talking about. Fortunately, flamethrower troops are not good at melees, so... why don't you guys go join them and just finish these guys off? I love the idea of the bunker in the game where it's like, all right, you're going to be much better at defending because you can put troops in a bunker that'll avoid a bombardment and then they can come out of the bunker when the bombardment's over. I don't feel like the execution on that is terribly good in the game. Like, it doesn't seem like that's a common thing. Like, you don't see the AI cycling troops into the bunkers and then coming out. It just, I think it happens so quick that you don't really, the troops come forward so quick you don't have time to get your troops out of the bunker very well. Yeah, I'm leaving the balloon up just so they know how hopeless their case is. Right, these 2 reinforcement companies are coming up. So we're getting ready for the final assault. We will put 2 of these units into this wood line here. Screw it, let's put 4. Woods provide good cover. I think they're too far away to get shot at from over there.
Achtung! Auf der Feuerstufe bereit machen!
Ah, artillery. Oh, it's a trench mortar. Okay, where is that? I'm not sure.
Mannschaft Sperrfeuerwalze befohlen.
Okay, one unit go forward.
Jetzt aber Laufschritt!
Let's just see where they are. There it is. Halt.
Kompanie, halt!
Well, good job, boys. They should still be in artillery range. They are. This is my favorite part of the game, which is not at all historical. This is almost like Vietnam era artillery. It's like move a unit forward, find and fix the enemy position, and then call in overwhelming fire support. Like this is a very modern usage of artillery in like a real-time way. Oh, we saw the enemy bunker. Now plaster it until they're all dead. This is a bad game, Ethan? I don't think so. It's fun. Is it totally true to World War I combat? No, but would that be fun as a game if it was?
In Stellung gehen!
It makes some interesting historical interpretations. Okay. Kushin, by the way, thanks for the resub. Appreciate the support. All right, so we have our troops in that wood line. We're going to start moving these boys forward as the artillery cools off.
Feuer frei!
Get our tanks forward here.
Feuer aus allen Rohren! Warte auf Befehle!
I just took the command trench, so the clock will begin again.
Feuer!
Move the armor forwards.
Befehle! Bereit machen!
They have no chance. I don't know why I'm talking like this.
Achtung! Bereit an der Linie!
Because I think I'm pretending to be German.
Feuerwalze vorbereiten.
Rolling barrage.
Für Koordinaten für Feuerwalze auf diese Stellung. Ladet sie nach. Für Feuerwalze laden. Feuerwalze einleiten.
Give us some cover, boys.
Wir haben neue Befehle! An die Linie!
The Allies request to surrender. This is the first. I have never seen the Allies request to surrender when you're on the offensive. They always fight to the bitter last. So the thing is, if we accept the surrender, the battle ends instantly, but you get the star. It's a sweep. But this is fun. I'm having fun reducing the enemy. So let's continue the attack.
Unser Ziel steht fest! Bereit für Befehle! Feuer frei! Wir brechen auf!
Oh shit, there's a machine gun nest there.
Position Feuerwalze vorbereiten. Mannschaften der Reichsfeuerwalze laden. Wir haben unsere Ziele.
And now here's the slight problem, and maybe why we should have taken the enemy's request, is we are now advancing beyond our artillery, if that makes sense. Oh god, where are they going? Shouldn't they be going here?
Wir haben neue Befehle!
Oh, that they're going there. Okay.
Warten auf Befehle! Feuerstellung einnehmen!
Shift those troops down.
Wir können hier nicht gewinnen!
British Raiders.
Seid bereit für Sperrfeuerwalze laden. Bereit für Sperrfeuerwalze auf diese Stellung. Ladet sie nach. Feuerwalze einleiten.
The armor over this way. It'd be funny if we ended up losing. Not like haha funny. Oh shit, do they have to cross no man's land? They do not. Okay, they get to. Oh no, they do, because this is a destroyed trench. Fuck! That makes things more difficult.
Wir haben neue Befehle! In Stellung gehen! Warten auf Befehle! Bereit machen! Vorwärts! Befehle gehen ein! Zu dieser Position vor!
Okay. They're gonna die. Oh, they're doing some damage to this tank. Let me get one of them. Okay, so these guys made it into this trench line without too much difficulty. Alright, so they're gonna possibly overwhelm me. We are supposed to destroy 3 British raider companies. I think we'll get this one here. Got it. So we got that secondary objective. It does feel like maybe we should have taken their surrender request. Okay, boys, move forward. All right, we got this enemy unit here with Artie. There's the enemy balloon. I really need more troops forward here. Alright, these guys are still sitting in a place where I can't really move them without them dying. We've got enough for 2 more units. I'm out of supply. Fuck. Okay. Alright, boys. No more artillery. It's time. That armored unit back. We got the balloon. Our infantry finished the balloon off. Okay, we're taking objective B. They're going to counterattack there. Let's get these troops into the trench now. All they can get there. Alright. They're going to overrun those 2 units there, which will stop us attacking or taking this position. I'm attacking over no man's land. Did all these guys already die? I forgot about them. At least maybe I'll pretend we pinned these British units in position. Oh my god. Move forward. Everybody's dying in flames. Ah! Ah! We gotta run out of flames eventually, right? They ran into an oven, pretty much. Come on, boys. I don't know why these tanks stop shooting at these enemy troops that are just chilling here. So everybody down on that southern attack died. This tank is just sitting here eating fire. Continue. The battle will continue. Screw the Allies' request. All right, we're gonna pull back now. You did your job, tank. You distracted the enemy. We've got like 2 units left, but we're taking the objective. Can you guys close with these oven makers? Through the trenches so you don't get lit up and turned into a bonfire. Ha 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 ha! Get them! Ouch, charcoal. I've learned a fair bit. I think I'm doing better than I used to. They made changes. There was a major patch. right. I know I left these guys here because this trench line is destroyed, so they have to move across no man's land, and I don't have artillery to suppress those French troops. So I'm content leaving the 2 French units out there just to wither on the vine. There you go. Victory, I think. Right? Yeah. Yay! Sweep! I did definitely butcher my boys on this one, J Street. You are 100% right. We took more casualties than were needed, probably. All right, so the enemy lost about 1,100 or 1,700 gold worth of troops. We lost 1,000. We got a great victory. 3,800 enemy infantry, regular infantry, 1,300 elite infantry, 67 raiders, 122 flamethrowers, 20 artillery pieces, 3 tanks and a bomber, as well as a balloon. We lost shy of 6,000 men, just shy. So 6,000 versus 5 and some change, almost-ish. But it's a victory, and we reduce Bray-la-Bussière from 2 stars to 1. Thanks for the follow, Cascardento. All those elite troops lost. Yes. Wait, that's bad, right? All right, there you have it, folks. That's going to do it for our first episode, which looked at the newest 1.1 patch, which made some considerable changes to artillery and tanks and the economics of things. And so I'm curious to see how this plays out further. I also think a new game with the new patch probably would be a good idea, but we'll obviously finish the current game first, just because I do think this patch changes a lot about how the game works. The enemy may be in too deep a hole and too bereft of supplies for it to save them, but we'll see how things play out. With that being said, that's going to do it for this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed. Until next time, this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and I'm out.